Hi, everybody. We're here with another episode of Making Comics. Where we last left off, Wilson was coloring TK issue 2, page 12, right?
That is correct.
All right. So All right. So here's something interesting. We got together as partners because of Team Kaiju. We were working for another company, and you were trying to do a 6-issue miniseries at the time, all by yourself.
All by myself.
While working a full-time job.
Correct.
And then,
not ever having done a comic book beforehand. I've only done, probably at that time, my credits would have been coloring a few house ads for Marvel.
You've done some books.
All right, actually, just
coloring full books?
I think so.
Okay. Actually, I think at this point, I'm not sure if we introduced ourselves. So I'm Eric.
I'm Wilson.
I'm LJ.
Okay, so and we're the guys behind Section 8 Comics, and
I know it.
Huh? Yeah, and I think TK is one of our most interesting books just because of the journey it created for us.
So long.
Yeah, it's the proof of a hobby project being like a hobby as opposed to like our other books, which we were like, we're gonna get this done, we're gonna make it happen and stuff like that. TK has been like, this is what you do when you're not doing anything else. Correct. So
it's a perpetual motion machine. At some point, it's always being worked on by someone.
Yes. Okay, so going to the creation of Team Kaiju, being that, yeah, I've done a few books by the time I started working on Team Kaiju, I've already had done work at Marvel, done freelance work. You mentioned we were doing work for that other company, and the bad habit that came from doing work with the other company was they needed the other books to get done, so Team Kaiju got put on the back burner. Too many times that it became easy to put Team Kaiju on the back burner. Issue 1 was what we would
took
say
15 years to make.
Took 15 years to make, but it was only about a week away from being done.
At any given time.
At any given time, it was always about a week away. LJ had came up to me. This is right before Pacific Rim came out, and was like, "How long would it really take to finish off Team Kaiju?"
Let's get this story right.
Okay.
I was at the comic store and I was looking at the. They had the Pacific Rim toys, and everything said Kaiju on it. Everything was labeled Kaiju. Even the Jaegers had Kaiju on it. So I just texted them, finish Team Kaiju #1. Kaiju marketing is going to sell this book. And it was done by that Comic-Con.
Yeah.
He had 3 days of work left. I
had 3 days of work left. And it's kind of funny because I would open up a page and go, all right, what needs to be done on this page? Well, if I would need to do this, and, oh, this is done now. Okay,
now,
so...
do you think possibly, now that you're a better colorist and a better artist as opposed to when you started,
yes,
you think that what looked like months worth of work back then turned into like, oh, I can get this done in a day now?
Yes, I knew my kung fu was a whole lot better. There were things that I knew how to do now that I did not know how to do back then. Simple things as color holes or even special effects that couldn't be done back then, even though we had the computer technology. In issue 1 of TK...
back then in 2002, and we could do that stuff.
Back on photo. It wasn't even Photoshop, just photo.
It was Adobe.
Look, I was working on the computers when it had 2 colors, green and a dark green. So, that goes back a ways. But it was definitely one of those things where I knew much more now, of course, that I was able to finish off that book within a few days or about a week maybe altogether, tweak some stuff here and there, but at the same time, trying not to redo the whole book. Because the art style, my art's better now, so it was more the sense of, okay, how much stuff do I need to do to get this done? Now that it's done, that's it. We'll put it out. The next issue will look even better than the first, so there's a progressive change on there.
Well, that's actually one of the biggest hurdles I've seen when dealing with artists who are working on their own project. They want to get it so perfect that even after I've heard of artists who have gotten an entire book done and shredded it. Because they were like, by the last page, they were better than they were at the first page, so they want to redo the whole thing. Or along the way, they developed a new style or something like that, and it was just like, oh, got to start all over.
Right.
And I told you if you tried to do that, I would beat you to a pulp.
That sounds like something that happened in one of our books.
Never. Yeah, actually, one of our minis, the artist, it's just a 10-pager. He did 10 pages, and then he's like, I don't like the way this looks, and he did it. Then there was another one, a full Gaidojin.
That's what I'm
the
talking
first 7 pages.
7.
There was a substantial amount of pages done.
Well, for a 32-page book, that's a quarter. I mean,
That's still a lot of pages.
That's a lot of pages, and it led to an argument between me and Wilson because Wilson's telling me something on page 4 looks wrong, and I'm like, it looks fine. He's like, no, it's wrong. It's in this box, and I'm like, what box are you talking about? Because I'm looking at the old images, and he's looking at the new images, and the guy's art is so good that I would have been fine with the original
I
things.
remember that argument.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? You're crazy. It's like, no, there's a blank spot right there. What do we put there? There's no blank spot. Like, we're arguing back and forth. Finally, I think I'm like, wait a minute. Send me a picture of what you're looking at. And it was just, again, we've had it a couple of times where you artists are crazy.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are insane.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't rewritten stuff over and over
Writing
again.
is an art form. Don't sell yourself short.
Well, I prefer calling you guys artists and me a storyteller because artist has a certain panache and style to it, but it also has a certain stigma of being fucking nuts.
Not gonna lie, it's still an art form
Oh yeah, it is.
because you still have to put something of yourself in it.
Oh,
Even if you crap it out, you're still putting something.
Yeah, and I've crapped some stuff out. I'm not gonna lie.
They hurt.
There's a couple of paid projects I did that was called. I'm like, I'm just ripping off this movie.
Oh my god.
This was amazing. Where'd you get inspiration? I was watching the Warriors last night.
Well, no, we actually did a project where is my mic? Yeah,
You
That was
disappeared
weird.
for a second. Yeah.
we actually did a project where I got hired, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna get paid from this.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna put the minimal amount of effort, and even my minimal, I think is still pretty good as far as.
Compared to other people's?
Well, no, it's not that.
Okay.
When it comes to humor, I think I'm pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
and this was a humor-based book, so I'm like, all right, let me get it done. I banged it out. I got it done in like less than 2 weeks. I wrote up the entire script, sent it to the guy. I said, "Let me know what you think. This is just a rough draft. I'll tweak it a little bit more if you like it, but this is what I'm going for." He loved it. I'm like, all right, fixed it up, got it perfect, sent it to the guy. Never heard from him again.
Yeah.
Did you get paid?
Did not get paid.
Okay.
It happens that way sometimes. And what's weird is sometimes when the least amount of effort you put in a project and people are loving it. And it's like, really? I kind of like crap that out because I thought I wasn't going to get paid or anything like that. But I think there's a portion in art that happens where because you're not thinking about it,
There's a little bit more freedom.
There's a freedom, and then there is sometimes once you get to the mindset of I don't care, I just need to get this done. There's an instinct that takes over, and sometimes the work looks better because of that. It is once you have the case of the
There's
ethics,
a certain freedom in being totally screwed. Once you have nothing to lose and stuff like that.
Yeah,
once
you don't care about the project, sometimes you could get it done pretty quick.
Well, it's not even about once you get past all the bullshit that's holding you back,
Right.
and stuff like that, because we all have our own self doubts and all that stuff. Once you get past all that stuff and just go for it, it gets really. And that's why I think certain people's projects that they hated end up being really great because at a certain point they just didn't care anymore. So they let the art. I don't want to say the art was truer, but it was a little bit freer.
Yeah.
It's a more natural, I think, approach to it where you get it done in that kind of way.
And it's a really fucked up message. We don't want to say that you should not care about what you're working on. But sometimes we get stuck in our own head, and sometimes you can see which artist this means something for when the stuff they hate turns out to be their best stuff.
Yeah, and it's different for every project.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know, so it's not like that's the mindset you should use each time you go in. For me, it's like I can't wait to get to the point of the art where it's like I'm not worrying about it. I'm just doing it, getting it done. What's funny sometimes too is like I might get into a groove so into it that nothing's stopping me. It doesn't matter the music that's playing. I'm just doing the art and I'm going. But I get so far into it, I kind of forget to save. So when it crashes, and it has, when the program would crash, it's like I could never get back in that same mindset. It's because I was so into it and it's flowing so well that, it's like it's almost too good. It has to crash. We can't see it this way.
It's like Once Upon a Time in Mexico. This food is just too good. I have to kill the cook.
Right. Exactly.
This is art looks perfect. I must destroy it so no one can see it.
Again, it's like, this portion is that Da Vinci-like genius. And the rest is, oh man.
Self-doubt and incrimination.
90% of what work is.
Well, I mean...
Like, if you notice, Wilson's in this... It's actually kind of funny we happen to be talking about this. Wilson has done the fire in this at least 5 or 6 times in the same... Like, this fire is not the same fire as when he started.
What do you mean?
Like, I'm watching it, and he's changed the way how the fire looks in several times in each one.
Right. Here's a case where, I could have easily done what I did before with, like, the bricks. I have a pre-made fire thing that I could toss in there, but it doesn't always work. And with fire, with something that's organic in a way, this fire is a living thing, I almost have to put it in as I'm going along. Now, the fire that you have around the ape is so much different than the fire you have around the monkey. Where around the ape, I have more...
Now, was that a conscious choice, or was it more of a matter of, like, I got tired, it was near the end of the panel?
That's exactly what it was. Where there was a certain way I was doing the fire, and I wasn't happy with it. So I kept playing around with it to what works in the panel. Ideally, all the flames should kind of be the same, but I figured it's a magical flame. Originally, I wanted it to be like a blue flame instead of the regular red flame.
Right.
But a blue flame looks so weird on the page that it's so hard to get away with it sometimes.
So it would have been a flaming blue monkey if you had gotten it right? Or would the monkey have stayed its color with just a blue flame?
The monkey would have stayed its colored with just a blue flame.
Okay.
Now, making the monkey blue never crossed my mind. That probably would have worked better.
Well, you should have called me at 2
But
in the
then
morning.
again, a blue monkey, you would think Gleep from Super Friends.
Some people want
Or
him
Grape
on fire.
Ape. Flaming Grape Ape. I may have to revisit these pages.
No,
of course
The
not.
book is done.
See, and like I said, I wasn't happy with the flame, so I went back to this one.
And that's more of a blast than a flame.
Yeah, but it's still he's powering.
I'm pretty
up.
sure the monkey's on fire.
Yeah, but here you see now I changed it from being the way it was to that more of that gradient airbrush kind of flame, which I think would look better on the last monkey on the last panel. So that's why I went back to change it on here. So a lot of times what you first start off with turns out to change it as you're going along.
All right. So what's it called? When you're coloring and stuff like that, like, all right, very simply, there's no background with this particular scene. It's all in. Now, that was a choice you made when you were penciling it, or was that a choice that you made while you were coloring it? Like,
no, it was a choice in the pencil portion of it because by the time I'm to the coloring point, it's all on the paper. So it wasn't like I would not remove a background if there was a background there.
what about for yourself though?
For myself, no. I pretty much put the images there the way that I saw it in the thumbnail stage.
Did you do the thumbnails or have somebody else do
I
them?
did for issue 2. I did the thumbnails.
Okay.
Issue 1, Fred Haynes helped me with the thumbnails.
He's also the cover artist for
He's
issue
the cover
1.
artist. Yes.
Shout out to Fred Haynes.
Yeah.
Yes. So issue 2, the thumbnails I did, but there's a very good chance Alita Martinez may have helped me out with it because what would happen is we would occasionally hang out at a Starbucks and work on our pages and then swap pages. What do you think of this?
Hipster.
Or no, well, this is before that.
That's how old he is. He predates hipsters.
Yes. So we were hanging out in coffee shops before it was cool because we wanted coffee.
Not for nothing. I don't think it's ever been cool.
Well,
Hanging out in a coffee shop?
I think it's very cool, very bohemian, very artist.
All right, what's it called? Now with this particular, like I saw that you did the copy and paste for the ground there.
Yes.
All right. So what's called and is it really just kind of a feeling when you pick what you're gonna copy and paste and what you're gonna do by hand for the coloring, or is there like some sort of inside your brain like some sort of rule?
There's no real rule. It's more of like when I first created this page, this was way before I was doing the copy and pasting. So for a page like this, very little backgrounds, more of that cartoon kind. And again, this was just for the storytelling to make it a little different from the rest of the book, because at this point we're dealing with magic. Before this, it's all technological based story, right. So I wanted it to be different in the first place. Trying to just put the texture in the flame guy's face, make it kind of look like a skull, although skulls don't really look that way.
Right.
So there's this.
You look so happy there.
He looks happy. so again,
you can feel like he's almost actually about to say something, like he's actually going to talk rah, 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 rah.
Well, more of in the sense of saying, oh, you are kind of small and meek. Maybe I should help you out and give you more power. So, with I don't know what I'm doing there.
Really, that looked really weird. I kind of liked it, actually.
What are you doing? Why did I yell at you for that?
As you asked before, it's more feelings as I'm doing it, what feels right, what looks right. That's the funny thing with artwork. You could get away with certain things, especially in comics. You have something exaggerated because you don't want to ground it in realism.
Well, I always thought it was interesting that one of your favorite things when you're doing portfolio reviews is you got to learn the rules before you can break them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's absolutely
true. I find it interesting that so many people, like, you have to tell them, do this, do this, do this, do this, when we're at portfolio reviews. And some of that stuff seems very basic to me, even not as an artist. I'm just talking about presentation in itself and stuff like that. And after seeing, like, what you actually do as far as working and stuff like that, I'm like, wow, I see the end result. I never see the actual working progress. So, like, to see this was kind of like, wow, he actually knows what the fuck he's doing. He's not sending this to gnomes. And stuff like that. Although, for all I know, a gnome did this, and what's cool, you're just taking the credit for it.
Well, gnomes aren't around as much as they used to be, so it's a lot harder because too many people discovered them and they were being overworked.
And his gnome has a day job.
And my gnome has a day job because he's not getting the comic work as much as he used to. So where do you get your ideas?
Yeah, I know it's you, LJ. I know it's you.
Where do you get your ideas for writing? I
believe the kitchen.
It's the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
It's the second shelf on your refrigerator.
Yeah.
Right.
But before we do that, who did we steal that joke from? Harlan Ellison.
Harlan Ellison. That's that. Yeah, because we got to give credit to him because he'll go after you.
Yeah, he'll sue anybody.
Yes, exactly.
What's called? And it might have been him or somebody else. One other creator said that was called where do you get your ideas from? Oh, I mail away for them in a place in like Nebraska. It's like, I want an idea for this, they mailed to them, and people actually believed him when he said that.
I believe that might have been Harlan as well.
Yeah, Harlan's crazy.
Which
I love watching interviews with him.
Yes. So where were we?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So to me, is sometimes it's feeling. Where do I want to be as I'm doing this, or basically, does it look good as we're going along?
Okay. Now, what's called? I think there isn't much left of this. Now, is this page actually completed?
This particular page, I believe, is completed by now.
Okay. I think there's only like a minute left in the video, so yeah, about a minute or so. And I was just curious. You letter everything at the end, correct?
Yeah. After the book, after everything is done, I letter. I do. The lettering is the last thing to go onto the page. There will be occasion where, as I'm lettering, I might spot something that I didn't notice that needs to be changed and fixed in the artwork. But for the most part, by the time I get to the lettering, everything else has been done.
Okay.
Even though, yes, I can and have lettered it in the black and white stage in case we wanted to print a preview book.
Okay.
So with the great part about lettering, and that's done in Adobe Illustrator.
Well, because lettering
I
is
could
also,
swap
also how
out
you do
the
your sound
artwork.
effects, right?
The sound effects is done in lettering.
So I was
as
always
well.
curious if you had ever like been in the middle of this and like I want to put a whoosh in here because I know exactly where I want it right now and stuff like that, or a bam or whatever, or do you still wait till the end?
I still wait to the end. I do not incorporate it into the artwork. Some artists do. When they really know, again, what they're doing. My handwriting isn't all that great, so I rather let the computer.
That's why you letter
take
by
care-
computer.
That's why I letter by computer. I never really got to learn how to letter by hand. Lettering by computer kind of became a necessity. I had no intention to letter, although I'm pretty much known in the industry as a letterer.
All right. Well, what's cool? We're gonna wrap it up there. That's been Making Comics with Eric.
Wilson,
LJ.
take care.
Bye.
Bye.